Today we look at one technical report where the Salone Institute of Engineers puts together for circa 1 building we collapse this BNT na Shell community, as they highlight the reason for this collapse. What are some of the reasons then we go know inside the program? But before that, we want to welcome Gerard King from the regional coordinator West, acting deputy director, disaster management agency. Good morning and welcome to the program. Good morning, Salone.
Yeah, good morning, listeners, and I'm happy to be here this morning.
Okay, National Disaster Management Agency. Today we look at the technical report where the Salone Institute of Engineers puts together for circa the collapse of 7-story building. Which at the end of the day, the National Disaster Management Agency being confirmed say 16 people die out of this incident. We now work together for put this report together. But before we look at the report, now we look at a rundown of the entire operation and how it conclude.
Yeah, thank you very much. And of course, as we all know, and this month and September 16th, we all been know waiting happen na free tongue na, and the way it happened, say this na a national issue. And the 16th at around 11 o'clock in the morning, we get an alert from we toll-free line, the 1199, where we get a report say a 7-story building don't collapse na Shell New Road. So immediately we get for activate the rapid response team, and we reach na the ground, and we realize say this situation where we been get at and it been very serious. There and then we immediately activate also the search and rescue operations because of the magnitude of the buildings and wait for them. I mean 7-story building. And we'll be also get for coordinate with the partners them. As we all know, disaster management issue, and NDMA no go able to handle everything by ourselves, and we know they work in isolation. We get for make sure say we reach out to we partners them, we get the equipment them we for use for make sure say we go ahead with the search and rescue operations. So we been get for do that search and rescue operations then day, and at the end of the day we end up for spend like 8 days entire the entire operations. We make sure say we bring the police, the military, the regiment, the engineering regiment from the military, the gentle group of company, the Marapan Mines, the JP Logistics, the Red Cross, Sierra Leone Red Cross Society, the SLRSA, the SLRA, and the Freetown City Councils, and a host of other ministry departments and agencies we are there. And we all the efforts that we consolidate, all the effort there for make sure say we get a successful, even though there were a series of challenges, but we end up for complete the operations. And at the end of the day, we able to account for 24 persons, and among them 24, then they will be get 16 fatalities we be end up for happen. And we also get 8 people who will be end up for survive. Among the 8, then they already 5 then they will be now discharged from the Okupa hospital. We still get 3 days where they now the emergency hospital where they respond to treatment.
Now you get from where this incident happened, the National Disaster Management Agency, don't they give updates on the lives them? Also the people will survive. According to the end of the operations, 24 people involved, 8 survive, 16 die.
Yeah.
But when I not give we analysis of property we lost now the 7-story building, what are the damage in terms of property and money?
Well, the damage is huge. We still try to get an account of the business people. Of course, we be not register up to 8 people we na business owners then we affected another area. And of course, before the search and rescue operation completes, we been get a reason for make sure say we reach down to the depth of the building. Even though when they tell we say the 2 last floor now being like a warehouse. So, but notwithstanding, we don't recover all the people who have been needed. But we still get reason for go down to the depth and for make sure say we salvage some of the goods that we've been daily for the business owners, and let us be able to forget something out of the whole what's they call. At the end of the day, we'll be able to forget loads of items them, build them, how they call it here, and spare parts. We been get spare parts them way the people will be able for can. We'll be able for recover money. We now been something like 56 million. We will be end up for hand over the honorable Mindede, the police, the Mindede, the military, the Mindede will hand over to the owner will been get the money, because suicide the money been inside one bag, and the receipts the Mindede will be at this person in name. So you will not be asked for able for trace who that get the money. So we'll be able to make sure say the people who get the money, they hand over to them.
Right. When disaster can happen, on our agency, at times can provide some basic things for people. Now, business people and they part of this particular saving story. We are in most of the business system, well, and as you mentioned, on our record, anything they we wanna get to them people there.
So, and we look at that, and we get for go now into the we post disaster stage. We will get something like the recovery process and all those things. So we don't get an assessment of the affected people. We get 22 people, and they win a household people that will be leave their families them. We don't really record, and we don't record, as I mentioned, we don't record 8 business owners them. So, and we get for go day back. Just day before yesterday, I've been there even after we don't decommission the site. I've been get for go day for go address the people as to how the operation end, and we think we'll get for be the next line. We don't promise them say we'll get for go back, and we engage with partners them, we engage with superiors them for see how best we will for reach out to them people in terms of support, because we all know at this stage they need support from both government and we other partners there. So we will get for go day back and see how best that will be done.
Okay, different organizations them don't pull in report. For example, the engineers then don't pull in report from on a point, on I don't get anything, we on I don't find out we cause the problem, we make that building the further.
For all we know, and yesterday we been get the interpillar coordination group meetings. That interpillar meeting, then a statutory meeting where they get once every month. Where they bring all the players them way related to disaster management in the country, both private and government ministry, departments and agency, and even development partners there. So we get the Institute of Engineers, the Mindede, the President Minde. And also we are aware say you don't share the reports with the Director General, and we look at that report. But summarily, we get for brief way that one of the reasons we make that building collapse now as a result of poor building materials and also inadequate poor construction work. We get for dilate further until we say the concrete mix was very, very poor. And also they use the iron rods the way they use, not to be the proper iron rods the way they use. So in a summary, these were the key things that we bring up yesterday in the meeting. We get
representative from the Institute of Engineers where they can dilate on that more. But on the properties recover so far now the building, we say una don't give some people how true is it that una discover a lot of tramadol now the building?
That's not to we knowledge. Say then discover tramadol, because we've been there with the security, the police, the military, the right through the operations, and we also been get incident command center. We'll be there throughout the process. We did it every night, 24 hours. We'll be there. So it's a rumor for now, but like what you say, me now averse to that information. They say they may discover loads of tramadol.
The program now, Good Morning Saloon, they come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. If you just tune in, today we look at one technical report where the Institute of Engineers put together for Seka, the 7-story building we collapsed now the eastern part. Now, Freeton, this BNTM, we say 16 people lost their life and 8 damage. Well, for continue for look at the issues. One welcome the program engineer Badamasi Savage, chairman, Professional Engineers Regulations Council with PRC. Good morning and welcome to the program. Good morning, Salon.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for having me. Good morning, colleagues.
And we dey look at the technical reports we una put together for sake of the collapsed 7-story building at the east of Freetown. But as engineers, let we look at the issue of building collapse and fence collapse with plenty this rain season. What do you want to make up of that as people wey dey into construction?
Okay, thank you very much, for that beautiful question. You know, this year, to be honest, we have rainfall we not ever get for the last over 50 years. We are experiencing that all over the country, and it's an issue of climate change. It can be an issue of things that where they happen up the rivers, maybe even from Guinea, take them down, you know, to Salon where they affect we. We never see this kind of rain. But however, you know, when we talk about engineering practice, you know, engineers, we are responsible to make sure that when we design things, we design them, you know, for safety and they should stand. We know how to design structures to make sure they withstand a lot of these issues, because we get what we call, you know, to put the factor of safety and all the rest of it inside. So then collapse, they are mainly from waiting we see now substandard construction, substandard materials used in the construction work, particularly, well, to be specific, for this building we collapse. By the way, me, a member of the Leone Institute of Engineers, yes, I was a past president as well, but now I'm chairman of the Professional Engineering Regulatory Council, regulating council. So therefore, we are the council where they regulate the practice of engineering in Sierra Leone. So we regulate the members of the Institution of Engineers as well. So me not been there long. So when I come, I just meet this collapse. I come one day before this collapse, you know. So I go there and with some engineers of the institution, and then we inspect and we put this report together. And one of the things we found out is really pathetic. This is a 7-story building, okay? And when you design these buildings, they take load. When we design structures, you bring down the load of the building, you know, down to the foundation, and so you design the structure, okay? And when you then load the area you take for design the structure will depend on what thing you use the building for. So if you use the building for residential purposes, the kind of load the way they apply for the design of the structure. If you use them for storage, the kind load the way they apply for design the structure. You see some structure, then the motorcar safe then at the slab. That's no problem. We can design all of that, but you have to make sure you design for that. We found out that this building was originally a residential building. Okay, yes, okay, get shop bottom. But if you take 2 containers of liquid, you know, it goes to a suspended slab, which it was not designed for, you ask for trouble.
So that the findings then they look into now.
Now they tell you so. Now they tell you so briefly.
Okay.
So that's an issue. Okay. Coupled up with what I just referred to about the substandard building materials. If you design then slab then they and then column the way they take the slab and building, you put iron rod. You get concrete mix. We call mixed design. You mix the concrete with sand, stone, and cement to a certain strength. Go to call concrete strength for withstand the load. You're not gonna believe we found out that some of them concrete mix they are so sansan. No better aggregate. The stone wood is inside some of the concrete. Now ball stone, which we call, you know, they are decomposed rock material. That's crazy, you know, for suspended slab. All of these we found out. Then we found out the iron rod, some of the iron rod then where they use was substandard. They're not to the right size. The size of the columns they wrong for 7-story building. You know, with our experience, I can pass a look at building and see the size of the columns and build. I will tell you, say this something is not right here. Okay, this is our profession. So all of this we found out. You know, that collapse was therefore a combination of all of these things. So coming back to your question about all the other wall, fence, and this, they are all related to that substandard design and construction. This is why we want to come now as the Professional Engineers Regulatory Council to make sure we regulate all of this practice, to make sure that only competent people, yeah, will be employed or given the opportunity to design and supervise and take necessary oversight for this construction.
We can look at the report proper, but more than 20 people and don't die for sake of building collapse and fence collapse just this year alone. Yes. Why now Institute of Engineers won't come inside?
Well, they're not inside. They're not inside. In fact, there are several other things. Me, as I say, I'm not in the I was away for about 3 months or so. But they're not inside. In fact, we have a structure now we are looking at, with the Ministry of Lands, where we investigate, so we don't see the potential. I will not talk about it now because that's under investigation. So we don't inside. We don't inside a long time, but because of this, when we come now as the regulatory council chairman, I say no, we have to now make the public, aware of what is causing all of this, and let us do a report. So I quickly put this report together.
This 7-story building will collapse.
Yeah.
When I find out, say it gets any professional engineer, we do this work on a just common contractor.
Good question. None. From all our investigation, no engineer was involved there. None. In fact, if you go to our report, one of the recommendations we are putting there is for the Ministry of Lands and Government Authorities and our colleagues, the NDMA, is in the report, to make sure that we bring people in to find out all of this. We know to police, but they have to invite people, find out who the owner is, who that the authority for building, why you build there, and who that's not the engineer, and we will let for coming. We are ready to cooperate. Let them bring out the plans, let them draw for them, let them bring out the design, who that design them, and all the rest of it. We want to see the design of the foundation set, because now water way that one day. Now big we call them gorge. That's a valley where water they run. So why you they build it? So questions need to be answered.
Okay. Continue for the between inside the program in name na engineer Badamasi Savage in a chairman professional engineer regulatory council as we there for look at the report. We get for do this 7-story building way for them this BNT. Inside the program this morning we get to civil society. We done the work around different issues them. One get for do with the collapse of this particular building, and inside the studios this morning we get David Indolo Conte, the executive director Rights to Life Advocacy Network. Good morning, David, and welcome to the Democracy.
Good morning, and good morning to the listeners, and thank you to Radio Democracy for having me this morning.
All right, one of the civil society then we don't monitor different issues them, and as an organization named Rights to Life Advocacy Network, what you make up of this particular incident we happened recently we get for do with the 7-story building?
Well, that's a very big blunder to the government, because if I can listen keenly waiting engineer already state, before you get a building permit in countries where we don't travel, go and where we don't study the young area of construction, you forget an engineer, a professional engineer, where in submission before you even go for the building permit, you get engineer way for supervise, because if you not get engineer, you not go even know the type of construction where you they do. So in the subsequent program at this one radio station, I've been saying the Institute of Engineers, they really need for step up, and the government as well need for give them the enabling environment for operate. Reason being, we get engineers who are not registered with the Institute of Engineers. We're still there around there, because when you go to other countries, you go find out, say, the different type of engineers. You're not going to get one engineer from structural engineering as quantity survey. All of those things need to be looked into. Now, we keep on to ask the government, because the engineer made measure of the strength of material, method of construction, and also the professional experience. Yeah? When you talk about the strength of material, that's an issue where the government, we said, there is a need for collaboration with the Ministry of Works the Institute of Engineers, the Standard Bureau, the Ministry of Lands. We need a proper collaboration because they need to work as a team. Reason being, if you look at the materials coming in Sierra Leone, like the iron rod we are talking about, because that one day also, now in the building itself, when it comes to floating and all other things, the iron rod, if you go to the market today, you go see an iron rod where the guys then go sell, give you say, now 12 meter. Where you look at them, you check them as a professional, you will find out, say, now something like 11. So if you not get a better engineer, also for apply 2 of that one day, now 1 you will apply. So that one day also will lead to the collapse of building. If you look, the part talk about the aggregate, even the water where you they use, even with cement, when you talk about the calcium aluminate, yeah, I tell you, say, instead of 40 to 50%, a lesser than even 30%. Yeah. So we need to look into all the things when it comes to standards, because there is no standard. The cement where we use is substandard. The iron rod where we use is substandard. Even the measurement, because talking about even like where they talk about beams, you talk about the even make we put onto the lame people them where they talk about the alpha column, the columns there as well. If they are not solid, because if you want to do a 5-story building or a 7-story building, you start from the foundation. But when you look at the building we collapse, so as CM say, the government and the Ministry of Land need to take full responsibility of what happened. Okay. Why they need to take responsibility? Because like we discussed with one of them professional head, he said there was no building permit. Someone doing a 7-story building without a building permit, they will again they go ahead for make it construct them. I feel say by now, as for don't begin the role now the Ministry of Land. Oh. People for don't they receive sacking and imprisonment.
All right, now this building, according to it, we have get another that place in a dirty box.
Yeah. And
if you look again, they will tell you see the person get proper document. Is it in this case now the Ministry of Lands we supposed for blame?
I've been doing one of my sister program when I was Epic. The professional head, who is Tamba Dauda, stated that clearly, said that particular building not get a building permit. And if the building not get a building permit, a high story. And if you can, I think in the previous government, I'm not casting the blame on the previous government because government comes in and goes out. People demonstrated, they protest been done at that particular place from the community people. Said this particular place, now a dustbin, a dirty box. This building not supposed for there. Now a waterway, one thing but water, you know the blocker. Yeah? Now the same thing don't go on where we can ask if we engineers them. Then they really pay attention to even the hill side. Where now in don't give pressure to the Samba gutter. Where before say when rain come, no way no day you can use down that street when a serious rain come, because we need to look at the topography. The water where they come up from the hills, from Sorita and from all other places, it be they scatter. But now we don't. The engineers them will be construct that particular road. Waiting we then do, then connect all the water, lead them to Samba gutter. So Samba gutter not able to take that one day anymore. So it's high time. The government itself, when it comes to building, they incorporate the Institute of Engineers fully. Okay. Give them all responsibility. You now give them the enabling environment, because you know one thing when our problem at this country, where they give the cow but still hold the rope. It means if I hold the rope, now me control the cow. So the Institute of Engineers, they need to give them a free hand and make sure say let there be a policy. If engineer not there under the Institute of Engineers, because now as he said the Ministry of Works don't do a better work. If you go for a construction work, you get a license from the Institute of Engineers before they issue out a license. So we need more collaboration. Now, like for example, the Ministry of Works self gets a responsibility in this, because they get engineers. They're supposed for the monitor the day-to-day construction.
We we dey look at that, and we will come back to you, because most times you dey see host dem mark X, even the host wey mark X around the disaster sites. According to information, people don't begin use the backs even.
Yeah,
the shop they don't open back, everything don't go to normal.
When we get
Will they come to you back, Indolo, Content Executive Director, Rights to Life Advocacy Network Salon?
The program now, Good Morning Salon, where they come to you live from Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. Inside the program, we take one of we issue them inside the Executive Director for Environmental Forum for Action, Amara Salami Kano, say if Salon continue to experience climate change, the country will get plenty outbreak them. Amara Salami Kano talk this inside our interview with Radio Democracy, where he made the talk about how climate change do affect the health in the country. They explain more to understand Swari inside this interview.
If you look at the current circumstances of the country, we're vulnerable to the impact of climate change. Assessment then done come over the years from the AR5, the IPCC reports, the synthetic report from the same IPCC, and even the Environmental Performance Index rank we as 155 to 182 as the vulnerable countries in the world. So this don't pose the kind of threats into our livelihoods as people.
All right. So which population we most risks from the impact of climate change?
Women and the became them more vulnerable to the impact of climate change. Because let's just take for example, the population index don't clearly see. If you look at the statistics we get, so we get a lot of women that will not get access to job. As long as they not get access to job, then the livelihood options. Let's say for example, if you look at firewood, one of the source of energy, we large population of people rely on. You understand? Now, women they do their stuff, then they understand. So as long as we experience the issues of climate change, now women them stand the chance for men and suffer more. And picking also, man them would only see yes, climate change don't affect man them, but not to that rates as compared to how climate change they affect the population of women and children. So these are the kind of categories of population where they actually suffer.
All right. So how climate change they contribute to the spread of sickness in the country?
Now we don't see the temperature trend. Temperature trend is it. The temperature we express for the past 5 years, they get high temperature trends now. You understand? Although we're not a major contributor to the greenhouse gases, but we feel the brunt of climate change. Let's say, for example, I make mention of cholera outbreak, I make mention of malaria. You understand? Then even we get one set of population where they call the albinos. The albinos, them, you understand? They suffer from the impact of this temperature rise. Now they even see when the sun warm that kind of more. So these are all impacts where climate change don't get to us with livelihood as people, and it gets more tendency. Now scientists don't come into conclusion say even the mpox where me and you now they try for brave space up for more not get that kind of outbreak here come on from the interaction of the animals them and we. So as long as there is that kind of interaction, the encroachment into the forest areas there, where they interact with then animals there, there's high tendency there's going to be more outbreaks. Now we'll also talk about Lassa fever. Then the Lassa fever they get it from animals there. You understand? As long as we continue for interact with the animals there, there's high tendency we'll forget multiple outbreaks. These are all the causes of climate change, and these are all environmental issues that we need for the discuss now.
So if Salon continue to experience climate change, what's the long-term health impact we will create in the country? Okay,
so we get two aspects. We get what we call the business as usual and not business as usual. Business as usual means if we continue this trend, what's going to happen in the next 5 years? So as long as we know the ensure, we know they manage with forest them, there is interaction between the humans and that of the animals. Understand? Be business as usual. There is high tendency for more get multiple outbreaks. When a health application with climate change also the cause. Not business as usual. If we get concrete options like we get concrete laws, then we get concrete enforcement in the sense we are in the laws. Then we see people that not for do poaching activities, people that not for encroach to the forest there. We enforce their laws, and then we think say we go able to reverse the issues right now. But as the trend on the continue, because if you look at 10 to 15 years, you understand, the population index now rate and just they increase. There's high tendency say as long as the population increase, then urbanization gets the tendency for make it expand.
Which measures then we think say governments for put in place so climate change would tap for affect health in the country?
Firstly, we need to do research. We need to see most publications right now, because there's no way you can talk about climate change if the research not informing in terms of data for tell you say climate change actually don't occur. Despite to get institutions with the collect data, but need analysis of those data. At least 30 years for being enough for tell we say climate change don't occur or not, because that data now will inform on policy makers who say we need for intervene. Let's take for example the field saloon program. There's no way we will get a comprehensive field saloon program if we not get data we will tell we about the climatic changes and trends we don't happen over the years. Then data then they will be useful in terms of predictability for tell we when rain will come, when rain will come, because we agricultural level as a country highly rely on rainfall. Say the national tree pre-planting for being inclusive fight. And lastly, so far, enforcement. We have beautiful laws, beautiful policies, but if the enforcement very weak, then people will continue to do whatever things they feel for do. And as long as we encroach into the area they are, and then it's going to be disaster.
Well, that's not the Executive Director for Environmental Forum for Action, Amara Salami Kanumi, the explained reporter Mastan Suariosa. I say if Salon continue to experience plenty rain, and that will make plenty outbreak in the country. The program na Good Morning Salon, where they come to you live from Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. And we'll bring the program to you this morning. My name is Usman Kamara.
Musa Kamara, na my name. We still get we studio guests them features they join with today. We they look at one technical report where the Institute of Engineers put together for Seka building collapse na Shell we na the eastern parts na Freetown. We say 16 people die and it's been damaged. Plenty property been spoiled. We still get Gerard King in the regional coordinator, West acting deputy director, disaster management agency. We don't get from the engineers them on issues we get for do with building collapse, and when it come after disaster when I get for do rescue, it take the National Disaster Management Agency 8 days for response to 7-story collapse. What will be the only National Disaster Management Agency for do them kind of operations there?
As you're aware, of course, I know say most of we there don't visit that particular site there and realize the kind of situation we've been there at hand. And now in place where it's very terrible, it's difficult for people to get access, because the gorge or the slope, it's been so high beside them put the building where the building collapsed. It's been very, very difficult for them to get with equipment them down at that place, because the accessibility has been difficult. No sign all day we will go able to pass the excavators them, no sign all day we will go able to pass the machines them for them for do the work I will be one time as quick as possible. Except otherwise we'll be able to make sure say the crane then come, will begin knock off some of the retaining walls they wouldn't put. The abutments they wouldn't be put for all the building, we'll begin knock them off so that we will put the machine down, let the search and rescue operation continue. Well, it's been difficult. That area they also put that building there, not to area than they were also supposed for there, because that kind big building there for them a place where get adequate land space where people can go able for access. But a situation of emergency, you put a building like that, it will be very difficult, my brother.
In your opening, you make mention of the gentle group of company Marampama and Seraru, Thailand, other private sectors there we come for help the National Disaster Management Agency for the search and rescue operation. Before them private sectors come in, what in the National Disaster Management Agency being get for response to disaster like this?
Yeah, and as in my opening statement, disaster management we get with mandate, and as a result of that, we know they operate in isolation. Okay, now make we one of we mandate, we key mandate now for make sure say we coordinate, we manage disasters and similar emergency right across the country, and how we do them now for make sure say we coordinate with partners them, both ministry, departments and agency, and with private sector partners them. So when the thing happen, as I rightly mentioned, immediately we go to the scene. What do? We reach out to we partners, and one of the first people we reach out to now the JP Logistics. Then just they close by few meters away from that side. Then bring immediately. Then bring 2 cranes. Then come. Then count the first crane 150. tons. Then realize say that not enough, then go back again and bring another one. So that not been the things that we will put in place for make sure say, and also being able to make sure say the military, because we get a very good relationship with the military, we get an MOU them where we will be done source out some equipment then, hand cutting equipment them, we will also make sure say them bring Canada sites for able for at least facilitate the process, for let the process go on.
Alright, is it time now for Leone get on your equipment, like in terms of crane, so that una will able to carry out on our work apart from, you know, construction company them? Because maybe sometimes the tell una go need them, then save day on their own project. Is it time for Leone get on your equipment for una self?
Yeah, forget we equipment, that no go bad, but what you would emphasize on here, everybody getting your roles and responsibility in disaster management. So supposing like law say we get to equipment now, definitely we'll get forget people they want to professionals they will get for user. That is why we have the ISF, the regiment, the military engineering regiment. They are always there. Most of the all equipment they self food in they use, then they at we disposal. So whenever we need them, we just need to forget a call and tell them say this is the situation. Okay, so forget equipment, that is fine. Forget equipment from NDMA side, it is fine. But definitely, even if we get them, we'll also forget professionals who get for use them. And one of the main people the way they support NDMA in that direction, now the CLU Armed Forces, the engineering regiment, now then they support NDMA in that direction. Okay. So that is how it's supposed to be.
When I get the manpower,
we get the manpower, we get the military get the manpower. The only thing normal way we need for intensify now capacity building. Okay, the capacity building, we get the capacity, but we need more of it. Both the military, the police, incident management overall of itself, we need some form of capacity building going forward. Because when you bring the military, then come, what you they face now, new phenomenon, and as a result, we need for brace up. You know, when the year they start, we get seasonal outlook. We anticipate the actions they already put in place. We not be done they ever foresee then kind incidents here we don't they pervade the disaster landscape now we they talk about. Because before now we flood mitigation activities and we also they bring the military can with the equipment and for make sure so we get communities and we can suffer flood. We can go into the communities and make sure say we decongest the gutter there, the waterways then, so that they will get access for the water they able for move. So that even at the event of heavy rain, it not will get too much impact on them. But now this kind of situation now we face now, so it's a call for concern for we SSF as an agency and also all we people that we now we front line responders and for make sure so we get some form of capacity building going forward.
The program now Good Morning Saloni, the country from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. If you just join me today, we look at one technical report where Institute of Engineers puts together for Seka collapse 7-story building a shell at the east of Freetown. We get engineer Badamasi Savage, Chairman Professional Engineers Regulations Council. Inside the program for talk about this report. Talking about this report, you don't give some of the findings within this report. Somebody will listen go like for know how to put this report together and would I want to work with for put this report together.
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, let me make some clarification, for the listening public, just to understand the context of all of this. This report not from the Institution of Engineers.
Okay.
This report is from the Professional Engineering Regulatory Council, PAC.
Okay.
Okay. For me as chairman. Okay. PAC now the regulatory body of engineering practice in Sierra Leone. We have an act. The Institute of Engineers don't have an act. Okay. So we regulate all members of the Institution of Engineers. We regulate them. So we have the act and we have the power to regulate engineering practices.
Okay.
Okay. So in as much as we work with the SLIE, with the Institution of Engineers, because we cannot give you a license to practice or to provide engineering services if we at the Regulatory Council not don't assess your competency and give you the license, just like my brother was saying. We have to give you a license, we assess you before you can practice engineering. So we have the act to give us that power. So we do that. So that's why when this thing happened, I said this is in our lane. We need to take action and do a report for government to consider like was mentioned, to empower us to make sure that we collaborate with all agencies to assist to do that regulation. So coming back to the
methods
and the report.
Together.
When, as I said, I was out of the country, this happened just the day after I arrived. So I said, okay, it just happened, I'm going to the site. So I went to the site, put together members of PAC, and also we have a committee comprising of engineers also from the Institution of Engineers, right? And we all went to the site. I said, let us go and investigate what is happening. So we went there, we look at the materials, we look at the method of collapse, we interview people, who were around, to get information. And of course, if you look at the report, a picture speaks for themselves. Even if you are not an engineer, just look at that report, you can make a lot of conclusions. So we, from the professional engineer's point of view, we knew exactly what was happening.
Okay. We listeners and viewers, they say, let Mr. Savage talk Creole to them, because that Creole program would run.
Oh, sorry. Una excuse me, me people then.
No problem.
Una excuse me.
No problem, sir.
Na the lecture business something I don't do too much na me that do for almost here.
Okay, then, no problem. We come back to the report. What in una fenot for SECA the issue of building permits, because when this structure come up, some say get building permits, some say not get building permits. What will I find out in terms of building permits and the sites where them build this structure as well?
Well, as I say, the first thing, when we go to the site, we find out, say, my question, say, why them build at this place? Because you clearly they see, say, this not a gorge. Then you ask people then say na dirty box in day, na water they run day, and we investigation. Even, let me just mention this, and I stated it in that report. I put another report there is one building there nearby. One building there nearby. When we then at the site, at the yeri water they run under the foundation of that building. So the water they run still in that gorge there. That building, guess what thing they do? Then put a channel underneath the building. So the water they run and the building they pan tap. That, it show you why, because what make them build at this place. So we ask people then, they say yes, now dirty box them, not me for building as well, and this and that. Then we look at the material, we give you further, insight into why the collapse take place.
All right. According to King, that even we then try for go down the place, we wouldn't know mean they pass then broke some pillar them. Now, how you could describe the structure of Salon in terms of building?
Well, my brother was absolutely right. When I go to the site, in fact, the engineers them we've been there around from SLRA, then they ask me, say, how can we access the site? And I make suggestions, how they go access the site. So, I broke some of them all there by the site because they can't get access. It's a very, very, very delicate area to work. I really applaud them for the efforts they made, because not too easy terrain for workman, So definitely that kind of a terrain, you have to think twice, for allow people then for building at that place there. So me ask, well, who that na this owner we get this building? They say the owner not the owner they upline or whatever the case may be. So I say, well, okay, we go put on our report, let government, take action. Fendi, if you look at, me, I go a little bit higher. I say, in fact, in my report, if you look at my report, I recommend, say, there's a parliamentary committee of works. I say that the parliamentary committee summon, the owner of the building, and that's the owner of the building. How would I tell you for building here? How you get permit for building here? Because we not go able to do that one day now. Even though we get the authority to regulate, I cannot do that, but Parliament can do that.
Normally, how you go describe the country in structure in terms of building?
It's very delicate. Something has to be done. We need to correct a lot of things, and we as the regulatory engineering, as was mentioned, the need for empowering. We now have the Act revised, because the Act, the 1990 Act, been get a lot of issues, been get a lot of things that we go give the power for, let we take all the action there. But now, thanks to this government, they don't enable we after over 13 years for let we revise the Act. Now we get the power for go na any building site and tell you say no, this what you they do so is wrong. But the government need to empower we. Right now we dey draft what we call an engineering regulatory monitoring mechanism, whereby like wetin what I in the talk. If you go to the same kind of agency we then get in Nigeria, every government project in Nigeria, the equivalent body we then call COEN, you know, the Council of Engineering Regulatory in Nigeria, they have a representative from COEN in every government project with the monitor.
For Salone,
for Salone,
any government project, we
none. Government not they call with it. So we they do this regulation now to react where we they hope say the minister go pass na cabinet, they then give with the authority now, let government they engage with all of them project they also and facilitate to it. My brother talk about the facility. You have to facilitate us to do it. We are ready. We have the competency.
The program Good Morning Salone will come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. Today we look at one technical report on the collapse of the 7-story building the east of Freetown. We get National Disaster Management Agency, we get engineers, Professional Engineers Regulation Council representative at the program, and also civil society rep. Before I come to Indolo, we are the civil society rep. I come to Gerard King from National Disaster Management Agency. They can give you a quick statistics of how many people don't die in fence or building collapse just this year.
Okay, this year we don't get a number of fatalities we don't record as a result of them Masibo they are waiting for them. Usually we hazard calendar, we can always focus on flood where that can be with predominant disaster during that period there where we can focus on either flood or mudslide. But this year na structural collapse. And as a result, day before yesterday we been get 30. Just day before yesterday we don't get another one, somebody we lost in life na Bangbai line station as a result of fence collapse, a 4 years of age girl. So the number don't go 31. Okay. Initially we been get 14 before the shell incident.
Okay.
And shell incident we record 16 fatality. We carry the number go to 30 just within this period. Now we don't get another one we suffer a fatality day before yesterday. The number don't go 31.
Now I ask you that for build the basis for come to Indolo the civil society representative. 30 people lost their life in building of fence collapse just this year, and we not see any action from government yet. You think the state they treat this issue seriously as a need for be treated?
No. There's a very straight. You know, when we get a government, we're not serious for protect the lives of citizens. These are some of the issues we get. There is no lesson learned when it comes to building collapse. Let's look at the motorway issue. Yeah? From where the incident happened, people don't begin to go build at that particular place. Government is doing nothing. The only time when government, like waiting don't happen, so you go see the vice president, they go, you go see all ministers, they go because they want to make them see them. But just after that, they not get no other thing again for protect the lives of citizens. Yeah. When it's time come, I will give you this. When time come for me, we go to election. Now we go employ them for make them get job. The last town, the last village, the last house, they will go there. But when time comes for make them even go Krube, then go tell you say the place is not comfortable. These are the lives of politicians. From where they don't come on at that place. Now we not even want to know again waiting to happen. Pass another incident occur, then we go come in.
Now, the issue of this 7-story building collapse, say now, no statement from would I get the house, and even would I get the house, they come at the picture. And one of the recommendations of the Professional Engineer Regulation Council, now for let Parliament summon the person will get this house. But even before that, no statement from the owner or no like the host just they on you, no ownership for this moment. At this moment, even 16 people don't lost their life, plenty property don't lost, and plenty people don't damage.
I can tell you, say we are not serious as a country. We are not serious as a government, because from the very first day where the incident happened, then for don't summon the person we get the building, because the person we get the building for can't tell we who that get the building permit for bill. Or that not the engineer will build that particular structure. Because the reason being, when you go to other countries, all engineers get what we call seal. I don't know if it happen or doc. I mean, engineer. Now, if it before you they go for a building permit, if they don't tell you say na David Indolo, na the engineer, it they back off the documents. Then the post where they request with an engineer. When he reached now, before they get the building permit, the engineer self they go and say, yes, we requested for this building permit. Make I shock you a bit. If you look at you building not to that story than be one for you building. Then be one get more stories. But because of the side, who side is supposed for Bilam, then see and say, no, this grown not go able all 20 story. So what did they do? Then spread them because you get technical people. But there is a problem at this country, just like when they talk about City Hall. The construction of City Hall, they get messing as they not also, where they do plastering. In Sierra Leone, we get where this has been a norm. Now, since this man be the part and parcel of that particular construction, I don't think I say an engineer. So when I want 10-story building, they can say, but this man, now they been do that City Hall, they go able to build for me 10-story. Not knowing that man in responsibility, now for just plaster the wall. You get the structural engineers, you get the engineers them, because no engineer, I go tell you that, because I don't work with engineers. No engineer know they, because when they come, even the messing away they go lay the block, if they go into agreement with them, where you bend this wall, then they broken down, because they want a right thing for be done. Like the construction way up on the 7-story building. One, we get for know the ministry, whether they involved in giving out that particular building permit. Because one thing waiting to happen at the ministry itself, you go see one grand person get, you go see for 1 grand land, 2 people get a building permit for that land. 1 grand land, 2 people get receipt saying now they sell you with this land. Then at the end of the day, when you go to court now, social land issue, where this person counts in document, is authentic. Where the other person counts is authentic. So these are some of the problems. So we have to blame the Ministry of Land itself, because the responsibility of giving out permits when you go to other countries is the council that take care of it. But in Sierra Leone, it's under the Ministry of Land. And these same people that already sell the land, now then they issue out the building permit. Then issue of order from above, it also they enroll in some of them in there. Because mind you, now, if somebody go like, waiting engineer they say, you know, I feel pity when my brother say, we not get equipment them. That one they take them out of it. Because people know go there under dirty, then they call, phone call, say, are they under here? We're not able to identify those locations. We're not able to pull them under the ground. A hard trendy for Sierra Leoneans. A hard trendy for make we lost 1 life.
Okay.
It's just that we're not even concerned how many lives then go out, how many people then die. The only thing we're concerned now, waiting they add the politician, this person will die, not get for votes for me. But if you know the responsibility of a government, you talk about the disaster-prone areas. We get one whole sector, now the ONS, we're governed by the office of the president when it comes to disaster-prone areas. But there is no sensitization when they go on. We not even prevent the people. We always ready for response to issues. We not even prevent them. Then coming about we talk about the engineers. They need equipment. Now they tell you say they not even get reach 3 vehicles. And he want them to monitor. Now even Kono as a whole, now a death zone. Because mining, they don't undermine every side. That way nobody no go say anything about it. We really need to look into all the issues there when it comes to protecting the lives of engineers. Yeah? Now we left for the response. Now more we keep on, more we start for the, prevent issues not to happen. So we go always hold the government responsible when it comes to issues of this. Not to only ministers going there, the permanent secretaries, these directors, then go there and say, we don't come, we don't look at the building. But it's high time we go to the drawing board. We get better policy. And those policies, let's implement them to the fullest. Let us not get what we call order from above. Now, for any construction, we want the government take note on that. When not get a solid and professional engineer, make them no issue building permits. And we want to see make the ministry of itself take this particular building permit and hand them over to the council, because the council we don't regulate that aspect. Right. So we go get people for all. You not go be the ref at the same time you be the player, because if you now you dey give land to people, now you dey give building permits. No, it's wrong.
All right, the Ministry of Lands now one section where people they blame concerning this issue. But again, as you hear from engineer, even when they go to the site, you see the concrete, you know, say too much sand, they are road, they're all substandard, and we get a whole, you know, department we're responsible for the test the material. For example, yes, for example, right now most of the supermarkets, them according to waiting the deputy minister go monitor, they all get expired goods. You think say standards bureau don't they do them work as per mandate?
No. In fact, I can say when you put square peg around hole, standard bureau not just empty vessel. Yeah, where we need to do something for the people of this country. If you find out why people they die, it's just that the doctors not able to tell we. Now because of some of them food they are where they eat. Now we as an organization we've been doing one massive survey. The business people call and diamond. As you reach, then the people where they sell na batch tell you say we'll get diamond the under. Now goods way don't expire. Yeah, and then get buildings them, then get warehouse them, where then they take them materials they have to, then they restamp them. So it's high time the Ministry of Trade, the Standard Bureau, the Consumer Protection, they stand tall for ensure say we prevent some of the rotten things there. John Lekwete, I tell you, even the cement where they produce, the cement, even the one where they come, they are substandard. Even the iron road where they come, they are substandard. Even the sand where you use, if you get a better engineer, they also advise you the type of sand where you use. And they also advise you the type of water where you use. But if you go use sand where mixed with dirty, then you put cement. At the end of the day, it will lead to the collapse of buildings. Yeah, because it talk about the method of construction. What do they do now? Wet ground. They build the way they put now wet ground, not the way they put now the rocky ground. So these are some of the things where you get for look into. Yeah.
Program in name na David Indolo. In name na David Indolo Conte, in executive director, Rights to Life Advocacy and Network. Musa.
The program, good morning, Salude, continue still on building permits. We go say building permits now one way the Ministry of Works and Public Assets been the issue some time back, but for sake of the plenty we are host them done the forum this PNTM make the chief director now the Ministry of Works and Public Assets Paul Solomon Bokari say building development permits now one way for return back to the Ministry of Works, because now then get the sabi for determine who say host for team up and the kind host we passing for the bill. Well, for more on this we join now Naomi Samura.
Building development permits now one where the Ministry of Work and Public Assets been the issue to people where want build house. During the President's Bureau era, the government been pull the work permits and transfer to the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Country Planning. But from where the permits go to the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Country Planning, plenty hostel don dey collapse and plenty property and people don dey lost their life. As plenty people be dey say, na the Ministry of Works and Public Assets responsible for give license to contractor dem wey dey build house. This bin make Radio Democracy bin go na the Ministry of Works and Public Assets talk to the Chief Director Solomon Paul Bokari, wey bin give some pan the reason dem why the building development permit for return back na the Ministry of Work.
Every part where they for that building, if you get lift to na mechanical engineer responsibility then you get electrical aspect for that. Now the electrical engineer in your role and when we do review, we don't ask government say we want to recruit all them people there. The Ministry of Work, now they architect in there, now the civil engineers in there, now the mechanical engineers in there, now the electrical engineers in there. This building permits here, if you come back to the Ministry of Works, when somebody don't take permit from this building, at every stage where they go on with that structure, somebody needs a supervisor. And there are several skills involved in building. The foundation of C7 gets specialized civil engineers, now they go advise. Now we look critically about this building development control, how we all will come into play, the rules and ensure say we regulate them, not only for public buildings, when now we get responsibility for now, even private owned buildings, whether constructed or existing ones, we assess them and ensure say they're habitable and certify them when habitable and declare them uninhabitable when we know say technically all the players they don't look at them and see say it unfit for me person live inside it, so that government will take action.
As all this be the Ministry of Works now one way responsible for public building them. You building now one per the public building them where they show sign of collapse. That's now according to the public relation officer now the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Country Planning, Abdul Fonti Kabia.
Other measure wherein somebody go down building house already, like how they tell you say, I go confirm to you say, Boku of their failed structures they. Even this UE building where we see them, some engineer they tell you say it's a failed structure because the term where they be bilam and the kind addition the way they happen there right now, you know, some man go come my ministry pull all the tile the way they and can put tile the way every pass waiting be they engineers them even they raise concern on that, say we need for look at waiting they happen at UE building. Also, let the general public know say whatever action the Ministry of Lands or any state institution they take with regards to their cause to their failed structures and dilapidated structures, for make sure say we pull people then they or we demolish their structures then they, it's at the best interest of the people then and the state.
The acting director of operation now the Ministry of Works and Public Assets, Madam Monica Kamara, been talk about the reason why us then they collapse.
So if we use now and say concrete, okay, only get bags to me. You don't send 80 bags on a site. The contractor will get on a site, you save there for pull in Bobo they save there for pull there. So if all man they pull before you know it, out of Southside for you don't get bags. If you not take something attack your 20 bags and they use. And they work with 100 bags cement for use. So that same work day, 20 bags cement or 30 bags cement they use. Because you know they get nothing for test. Number one, when you talk about the concrete, to get your weeks, you suppose for them. And number two, the kind of iron what you usually can live on the design, we're gonna site, not to usually be see. How they say for science, not to show technical people the material, the spacing between the iron rod them from one lens to another, not to the same thing that they apply. When they employ as engineer, that's a key work then they wouldn't do. You suppose for them.
The democracy not tap there. We been get this side of the ordinary people, and at this them it gets for sale.
Now the enforcement, they not set example. How many people don't go court? We don't blame them. Then they enforce all this that and this politics. The salon man of his portraying your attitude. They no say this country na me own. That man self where they monitor. Now human being me brother. Where can I present your effect? I'm not really near it. Whatever we do. For
the Society for Radio Democracy, Naomi Samura reports.
Well, the program Good Morning Salon they continue. Una don't send una text messages them on 077981981. Also on our Facebook page. This one say the Minister of Lands is refusing to develop activities to the National Land Commission and councils. They are the player and referee at the same time. This is because of they want too much money.
This one from Mohamed Jallo says Salon people are stubborn. Even the access road they have built on all road, the Ministry of Lands has to book all fence and building and crucials. Any access road should be removed.
This one from Maxen and New England Valley say the collapse of buildings in the country is really alarming. There are plenty substandard building materials all over the country, and Standard Bureau and Ministry of Lands need to do something.
This one from Ronald, they say people have died due to building collapse and you cannot give the public the official account number.
Okay, this one we continue for a look at more issues. Since more text messages say, have you seen the Unimtech building at KISSY? Another disaster looming. What our authorities doing about that building?
This one again from Mohamed Jallo, he say you blame the people, you left the producer and importer them, we for blame.
This one, so I want to ask the National Disaster Management Agency rep whether the site where the house was situated was fit for building and who allowed them to build there. I also saw the other building marked X. What is the meaning of that?
This one say from Emmanuel, he say engineer government don't encourage over the past year for Leone self contribute to the building issue in the country?
We continue for a look at more messages them inside the program. This one say architect and the Sierra Leone Institution of Engineers have warned that more buildings are still likely to fall due to the agreed and incompetence of unqualified and unregistered builders who kept masquerading as architects and engineers in Sierra Leone, Mark 10, New England Ville.
This one say, thanks very much to the civil society man, but please you need to go around and get a correct number of buildings that need to demolish.
This one from Regina Brestford, Ignos George Stone, our Facebook page. They say, as your regulatory council go to Kono or McKinney, where Atromo that was felt this lately in McKinney, because that is another area of interest due to constant illegal mining going on.
The last one I go take.
Una say we there, una go attest to the fact say we director of communication when Mwameba Elba, all over the media, all over the place, they sensitize the community people, the nationwide on the issues of the building collapse with rampart. And when they put out we toll free line number for people and for them know say if you in a community you get a threat of a building situation we don't become very dilapidated offense. Right. We not get to we get number of assessment and now they do. We the PAC, the Professional Engineering Regulatory Council, then self-aware. We get few, then they self will get for them back on technical assessment.
Alright.
So we get them and they keep coming. And we now we for now mandate. And now the Director General really stand for within this period we want for ensure say the issue where they happen, we stop them. And the earlier we get the information, the earlier we reach out to the people and advise them for them to evacuate from the place.
Alright, plenty thank you for joining inside the program. Quickly to you, Indolo. Somebody say you need to go around and get a data of building them where you then think say them for demolition.
Yes, we get a responsibility as an organization for give to the people of this country, even though we are not funded by governments. Now we own personal funding we normally they use, so we have a lot of constraints, but we try we own level best. Yeah. Coming to the issue of make I just conclude. Yeah, because of the time.
Yeah.
We want to see the government, the central government itself, try as best as they can for me to engage the professional engineers and regulation and council, engage the Ministry of Works, the Ministry of Lands, the Institute of Engineers. May them try for see how then we will engage them. Yeah, and even we brought away there, may them try for see how they able bring them on board. But me will tell you, say the sensitization itself is not sufficient. We need more sensitization. But even though we are sensitizing these people, they are not professional. And government in, government out are being elected to protect the lives of citizens and their property as well. Yeah. So I always they say, when you give cow to somebody, you hold the rope, or when you take money, mina money for go buy kuta, it's not possible. Right. If you want to get a better structure, you get a professional engineer we mean business, we know in work. Right. So the Ministry of Lands and the Ministry of Works, even yes, I read the Ministry of Works, somebody they say, may they count the building permits today. Why we need for first for building permits? We then still get work because day-to-day construction, they need for the visit some of their site they are with the help of the professional engineers.
Thank you.
Right.
Yeah, but if we say no more men can building permits, and this building permits as well, a need for stop force. Now begin do a proper, you know.
Plenty thank you for joining inside the program this morning. Over to you, engineer.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. You know, just to round up on the messages and to take up from where Indolo stop. Yes, the Ministry of Works, you know, we must give them credit. You know, then don't facilitate we for let them revise we act for empower we. You know, for do a lot of things. Right now, you know, then they help we for make sure that no engineer can practice now without not getting license to practice or companies and so on. So they have done quite a lot. You know, what we need to do now, we need to get them to step up to facilitate us to be part of all of these projects that are coming on. The one of the things I want for state here, for all this collaboration, as I say, we do this engineering regulatory monitoring thing where they put up. We don't do the draft of the regulation. We pass on to Ministry of Works. Ministry of Works, by the way, now we line ministry. So we pass on to the ministry for take and go cabinet, so it becomes a regulation. Once we get that regulation day, then we no need for wait for government again for call we, because that regulation day they give you the authority. They walk into your site and we ask you for documents. If you not give it, they give you the authority. They stop that work day and say no, you cannot continue.
Thank you very much. And we round up the program. The side where this building broke, building the way the mark X, then don't occupy them back. What's in this mean?
Well, again, that shows say no law and order no day, because for people they not for good day. They not for good day, they don't mark exit, they for evacuate.
Okay, thank you very much for joining us at today's edition of the program. When this program they left you for today, we'll be look at the technical report. We professional engineers regulatory council being put together, and for can discuss we will get engineer Badamasi Savage. We in the chairman for this council, and also we get Gerard King, we are the regional coordinator West acting deputy director National Disaster Management Agency, and also David Indolo Conte, executive director Right to Life Advocacy Network Salon.